Okay, let's start hadith number 10. Hamza, can you read hadith? Can you see it?
نعم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحديث العاشر عن أبي هريرة رضي عنه تعالى عنه قال رضي تعالى عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن الله تعالى طيب لا يقبل إلا طيبا، وإن الله أمر المؤمنين بما أمر به المرسلين، فقال: يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات واعملوا صالحا، وقال: يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم. ثم ذكر الرجل يطير السفر أشعث أغبر يمد يديه إلى السماء: يا رب يا رب، ومطعمه حرام ومشربه حرام وغذي بالحرام، فأنى يستجاب لذلك. رواه مسلم.
Okay. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. So the previous hadith was narrated by Abu Hurairah as well as this. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu is the companion who has narrated the most number of hadith. Okay, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إن الله طيب لا يقبل إلا طيبا. Pay attention. إن الله طيب. Verily Allah, the Exalted, is طيب. Okay, we'll talk about what tayyib means. You can say pure. لا يقبل إلا طيبا. So he is pure and accept only that which is pure. He accepts only those actions of his slaves that are pure. وإن الله أمر المؤمنين بما أمر به المرسلين. Allah has commanded the believers to do that which He has commanded the messengers. Meaning the command is the same. Allah has commanded the believers to do something that He has commanded His messengers to do. So what did He command His messengers to do? He said, Ya ayyuha rasul, kulu min at-tayyibati wa'amalu salihan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the messenger. He said, O messengers, eat of the good things and do righteous deed. Wa'amalu salihan. And something similar he commanded the believers when he said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. O believers, eat of the things that we have produced for you. Eat of the good things, Kulu min at-tayyibati, eat of the good things, ma razaqnakum, that of which we have provided to you. So can you see the command for the believers is the same as he commanded the prophets. Kulu min at-tayyibat. And here meaning Ya ayyuhar rasul kulu min at-tayyibat. Here Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. ثم ذكر الرجل. Then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned a man who after a long journey, ثم ذكر الرجل يطيل السفر, a man who has undertaken a long journey. أشعث أغبر, and he is disheveled and dust colored, meaning his cloth and body is what we say colored with dust. Ash'as, and he is disheveled, meaning his hairs are not properly set, or meaning not combed. يمد يديه إلى السماء, and this person who has undertaken a long journey, and this person who is disheveled and dust colored, he stretches his hand out towards the heaven, saying, Ya Rab, O my Lord, and asking, Ya Rab, making dua. Prophet ﷺ said, Mat'amuhu haram, while his food is unlawful. Mashrabuhu haram, his drink is unlawful. Waghudhiya bil haram, his drink is unlawful. And some of the riwayat says that his clothing is unlawful. It's not here. Waghudhiya bil haram, and his nourishment is unlawful, meaning his ghidha, or his body is grown up using haram, meaning haram things or halal things, but through haram means. فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ لِذَلِكَ, how is he to be answered? Meaning when he is in such a state, how is dua is going to be answered? Rawahu Muslim. So all the words are clear, boys? Okay, let's move ahead. Inna Allah, general comments about the hadith. Okay, the importance of the hadith is that meaning, the importance of this hadith is that it describes the acts that are pleasing and acceptable to Allah. It shows that if an act is not pure and good and not according to the Sharia, Allah will not accept it. Indeed, Allah may not even respond to one who calls on Him if his sustenance is not from permissible sources. Okay, so this hadith is important because it tells us the acts that are pleasing to Allah and displeasing to Allah. And this hadith tells us when dua, meaning it tells us who are the people whose du'as are going to be accepted and those whose du'as are going to be rejected. Okay, verily Allah is pure. Okay, what it means? Allah is pure. I said Ibn Rajab wrote the meaning of tayyib here is tahir and pure, meaning that is Allah is holy and above every imperfection and need. He is pure and perfect. Okay, He is pure and perfect, and this means that Allah has all of the attributes of perfection and completeness. He is not in need of partner, wife, child, and so forth. He is also not in need of sleep or rest. All of these perfect aspects are implied in this one statement of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he said, meaning, in which every form of shortcoming, weakness, blemish, or need is removed from Allah. So see the word of Inna Allah tayyibun. What tayyib means? All this. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is tayyib, He is tahir, He is holy, He is above every imperfection and need. Any type of shortcoming, weakness, blemish are removed far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the meaning of tayyib. Inna Allah tayyib. And He only accepts what is pure. Meaning Allah is tayyib and Allah will accept what is pure. Allah does not accept any deed unless it is. Yes, what did He say? I said Allah will not accept any deed unless it is done, unless it is pure and free from any aspect that would ruin it. Okay, the deed need to be free from any form of show or obstination. If the deed involves wealth, the wealth must be purely legal wealth. So it is not only regarding the wealth. All deed and all action must be pure and free from any taint whatsoever. So it is not only what we say. Physically, our deed needs to be pure. Our charity needs to be from Allah. Spiritually as well, our deeds need to be pure, done for His sake, and there is no other evil intention is involved. Allah will not accept the deed, otherwise Allah will not accept the deed. He is above accepting such a deed that is not pure, because He is tayyib, so He will accept the tayyib amal from His slaves. Okay, what it means, the meaning of having been accepted, the meaning of having a deed accepted, meaning the hadith goes on to say Allah is tayyib and Allah will only accept what is tayyib. So what accepting means? Any idea? Okay, see what I have said. I said acceptance has many different meanings to it. Ibn Rajab points out that it could imply one of the following. Number one, so when a deed is accepted, it means Allah is pleased with the deed. He praises the one who performs it, tells the angels about the deed performed and so forth. Okay, this is a special deed, meaning you are doing some deed in a special way. Like on day of Arafah, when Hujjaj are gathering and they are disheveled and they are dust colored and they are stretching their hands and they have come from far different part of the world using their money and making physical effort. You see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions them to the angels. So that is high level of acceptance. Be careful, this is the highest level of acceptance. Okay, another meaning is the deed will be rewarded in the hereafter. Okay, you're doing a deed, may not necessarily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about you or about your actions to the angels or praising you or your actions, but still you will be rewarded. That's also good enough, even though this is lower level than the previous. Okay, the person has performed his legal obligation of enacting such a deed, meaning, yes, the responsibility you will regard it as you have done the act. The person has performed his legal obligation, even though, let's say, maybe there's no reward. Is it clear now? So this is a least level of acceptance, meaning you won't be questioned why you haven't done the act, even though you may not get any reward for the act because of some reason. Okay, so at least we should target the middle one, the deed where the deed will be rewarded in the hereafter. May Allah make all of our deeds from this, where we are getting reward in hereafter. Okay, let's move to the next one. I said if your deed is not accepted, it doesn't mean that you don't perform it. Okay, for example, someone said, look, for Sharia reason, my deeds are not going to be accepted. The house that I'm living is for mortgage. I'm working in the bank, for example. And here Prophet ﷺ said your du'as and your deeds will not be accepted. So it doesn't mean that you stop doing those righteous deeds. That's what I wanted to say. If a deed is not accepted for Sharia reason, it doesn't mean that you don't perform it. For example, there's a hadith that states that a prayer of a person who consumes alcohol will not be accepted for 40 days. It doesn't mean that this person should not pray for 40 days based upon the statement of Prophet ﷺ that my prayer for 40 days are not going to be accepted, not billah. Still, you have to pray even though no reward. If you leave those acts, you may be punished for not performing the deeds. So be careful. Some people may say, look, Prophet ﷺ said this person's deeds will not be accepted. Unfortunately, Nauzubillah, I'm from them, so there is no point for me to perform any righteous deed. Okay, what did I say thereafter? Allah has commanded the messengers. Allah has commanded the messengers, and He said, Ya you Rasul, O messengers, eat of the good things and do right. So let's see what I have said. This verse shows that the honorable position of the messengers in the sight of Allah. So Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they purify themselves with respect to their body and with respect to their spirit. They purify their body by consuming only pure and beneficial things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted them, and they purify their soul as well by performing righteous deed. So see, two things Allah commanded: eat good things and do righteous. Good things will purify your body, and obviously good things needs to be obtained by legal means. Two conditions: things need to be halal and they have been acquired by legal means. Okay, if thing is halal, but you are stealing someone's sheep and saying, look, it is halal, sheep or goat or cow is halal, but you have stolen that from a farmer or from your neighbor or so. Things need to be halal and they need to be obtained by halal means. So that's what the first command. And then do righteous deed. So these righteous deed will purify the prophets spiritually. Okay, this was also, I said this verse was also a refutation of the disbelievers who objected to the fact that the messenger ate and walked in the, meaning ate and walked in the marketplace like other humans. Okay, because Prophet, this ayah says that eat and drink from the pure things. So it tells us that the messengers are a human being and there's nothing shameful if they are eating and drinking because they are human. They need it like us. But they eat and drink good things that have been acquired through legal means. Okay, before concluding, one more point. O believers, eat of the good things that we have provided for you. Okay, so I said the same noble command that was addressed to the messengers was also specifically addressed to the believers. The command was repeated with respect to the believers as well, because of the importance of the command itself and the fact that all true servants of Allah must abide by it. Meaning the same command which was given to the prophets, given to the believers as well. In the Quran, this verse follows a number of verses. I mean this verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned some things that the kuffar of that time have prohibited, some animals like buhaira and saib and so on and so forth. At the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kulu min tayyibat, meaning eat good things. So what it implies? It implies the things that are halal, don't make it haram for yourself. Pay attention. Don't eat haram, and don't make, on other hand, don't make halal things that Allah has made pure for you illegal upon yourself. If you don't like any halal things, you don't have to. For example, you don't enjoy eating fish, it's not necessary for you to eat fish then. But don't make it haram upon yourself. They must neither disallow what Allah has permitted, and nor may they eat what Allah has prohibited. Is the point is clear? Okay, so this is slide number what? So shall we stop here? I'll take one more slide.
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay, so let me take one more. I said the order to eat good. The order to eat in this verse implies permissibility, and it's not an obligation. Okay, when Allah said, Kulu min at-tayyibat, eat from the halal things that we have prohibited, meaning it is allowed for you to enjoy and eat. Pay attention, very interesting point here, this one. Scholars have divided consuming food into 5 categories. We've been allowed to eat halal things, tayyibat means pure things. Scholars have divided consuming food into 5 categories, and the ruling of each one is different. The first category is that which is obligatory. This is the amount of food that it takes for one to survive and maintain himself. So that much amount of eating is mandatory. If you don't eat it altogether, you will die. So this is the first category, which is obligatory. This is the amount of food that it takes for one to survive. Okay, the second category is that the food for which one will also receive a reward for eating. Okay, this is the food that is specially consumed with the intention that it will give one the strength needed to perform acts of worship and so forth. So you're not only eating very little, meaning, yes, you're not eating very little that you have to eat to survive yourself. Rather, you're eating a little bit more. Why? Because with a good intention. You want to participate in something noble. You want to go for Hajj, for example, that requires proper health, because Hajj is health and strength is required. So here you will be rewarded with the intention. It is about the first category, meaning in quantity you are eating more than what more than what is required for your survival, but with good intention. Okay, the third category is the permissible food is that which is beyond the first 2 categories, meaning you're eating something permissible, you're already healthy, but you enjoy eating cake or something, you're eating. So there's nothing wrong as long as it's halal and obtained by halal means. So this type of food is called allowed, permissible one. Okay, the next 2 categories, the next category, fourth one, is that of disapproval, meaning it is makruh. When the person eats more than what he needs to satisfy and fill himself, meaning you're eating extra. So we say that the extra that you're eating is makruh. Why? It will only increases your BP, or for example, your blood pressure, or cholesterol and sugar and many other things. Then we say don't eat healthy, and meaning eat that is required for you, what is required to keep yourself healthy. Don't go beyond. The fifth category is the forbidden level, where one eats so much of such food that he actually is physically harming his body and his ability to worship Allah. So if someone eating something that is harmful, or eating excessively, which will harm his health and his body, and he won't be able to worship Allah, then that is haram. Those eating is haram. So is this point clear? 5 different categories, 5 different ruling. The first one is mandatory. The second one is rewarding. The third one is permissible. The fourth one is makruh. The fifth one is haram. You need to know which one is makruh, which one is haram, and which one is mandatory, which one is rewarding. And the middle one, the third one, is permissible. Okay, we'll stop here because there's much to be taken. So we'll stop here, inshallah. Any questions? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. And remind me to send this slide.